We were just talking a little bit about the adaptations of some of these mussels to living in a flowing current and so on, and this right here is a particularly interesting spot as related to that, right?
So maybe it is, yeah. This point right here, where we're in Delaware, just outside of London, is sort of the transition between the upper river and the lower river within the Thames. So above here, there's three branches to the system, and down here it's a straight run down to Lake St. Clair in the mouth. But it's a much more high energy system down here. The river constricts a bit, gets deeper, gets higher flows, and what we see is a real transition in the species complement between sites above here and sites below here. Here we have a bit of a mix of both, but in the lower river system we typically have the species with their big, heavy, thick shells, species with the bumps and the ridges, the pustules on the shells, and all of those are adaptations to high energy environments. They're allowing the animals to remain burrowed and not become dislodged and not become washed downstream. Above here, in lower energy environments, you're going to see animals that are adapted to just that low energy, softer substrate. They typically have thinner shells. They won't have the ornamentation on the shells. A lot of species have lost their internal teeth, which serve to make the shell heavy. The teeth help lock the valves together so the animals aren't sheared apart, but they add weight to the shell. So in a low energy environment, those animals will sink into the soft substrate. So you do see that transition, and as I say, this is the sort of point where we're launching into those lower river species now. So that's one of the reasons why we're targeting this site.
And if you saw species that were inhabiting a relatively still body of water, like a large lake or something like that, they would probably be even farther along on that extreme, would they? Would they be lighter even, or?
Well, yeah. Again, what we see is a lot of the lake species tend to be, and the small lake species tend to be those headwater species too. So the shells are more inflated, whereas the animals down here tend to be flattened left and right in the upstream and in lake systems, and that they tend to be more inflated and round and just adapted to those low energy systems. Yeah.
There are abyssal threads found in unionids as well. They generally keep them in the juvenile stage only, and as they grow up into adults, most species get heavy enough or bumpy enough to kind of hold themselves in place just by their size and by their shell shape. But one species in particular, the ray bean, maintains abyssal thread throughout its adult stage, but because it's only as an adult 2 or 3 centimeters long, it tends to maintain that abyssal thread in order to help anchor it to the substrate.
I think I got a baby snuff box. On abyssal thread.
Wow, good find. Oh yes, okay.
Yep, it's a baby snuff box. Endangered species.
This snuff box here is a juvenile, and it's attached to these rocks here by abyssal thread. You can kind of see them swinging there. So this juvenile mussels often use abyssal thread to help them attach to substrate so they don't get washed downstream in high flow events. Adult mussels have higher specific gravity, and they can attach themselves more easily just with a foot and burrow more easily. But finding small animals like this little snuff box is a really good sign, because the snuff box is an endangered species in the state of Michigan, as well as endangered in Canada. So finding these small animals is a really good sign for a recruiting population.